And welcome to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here from Billy Living's Field, home of the Vero Beach Indians. Today the Cocoa Tigers are traveling down to Vero Beach. We have an interesting game on our hands. Terry, this is an exciting one. We were just here 2 weeks. We saw a really good one between the O'Galley Commodores and the Vero Beach Indians. Cocoa coming to town. I expect it to be a similar exciting matchup.
Yeah, I definitely expect it to be an exciting matchup. You know, Cocoa state champions, so you're going to get everybody's best game. And so Vero Beach, they know what's at stake. They've already beaten one team from Brevard County. They're trying to make it two teams now.
Well, this one is a rematch of 4 seasons ago when it really came down to a 42-41 thriller, a 1-point victory for the Cocoa Tigers in overtime. And that kind of started really the dynasty run that we've seen over the past couple of years from the Tigers, winning 3 state championships and going to 4 of the last winning 3 of the 4 last state championships. So this is really a big one for both teams. I would say it's a little bit bigger for Cocoa coming off the loss last week, though, Terry.
Yeah, it definitely is. Cocoa, they're got accustomed to winning. And when you lose, you know, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So now they've lost a game that people thought that they should have won. And so now I'm anxious to see how they're going to respond from this game. You are the state champions, and I know everybody's expecting you. You lost a lot of players, but that doesn't, make any excuses because it's the next man up mentality. So, but Vero Beach is not going to feel they're not going to feel down or bad or anything that they've lost so many players, a lot of great talent, because Vero Beach is trying to establish themselves. They're coming off a good victory against a team in Gainesville, Buckhorse, and no one expected them to win that, but it was a heck of a win for Vero Beach.
Yeah, big game right here for really both teams. I believe Cocoa is coming in. They probably are feeling a little bit sour after that loss a week ago at home to Mainland, which that was the team that we saw last season, Terry. They beat them handily in 51-0, and now dropping that game so early in the season, which, like you mentioned, Cocoa's not usually used to getting punched in the face that early in the season. However, I think you learn a lot after a loss. You learn about what things you did wrong, but you learn about your team in a sense of how are you going to respond. And they have a really good test tonight in Vero Beach, and this is a really good way for them to respond if they can come out here on the road and get this victory.
Yeah, and we don't know it's a lot of uncertainties, right? We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. You know, they've been pulling people out left and right, but they must win tonight. It's a lot of pressure. Not too much pressure, even though you're at your home field against Vero Beach, because they're 2-0, and a lot of people didn't expect them to be 2-0, right? So they're betting on house money right now. But Cocoa, they expect to win this game.
Yep.
But Vero, trust me, they have not forgotten about that loss 4 years ago in overtime by 1 point. Just like they haven't forgot about that loss 2 weeks of it last year when they played against O'Galley 2 weeks ago. They did not forget that at all. And I know deep in their minds, some of these guys probably wasn't even on the team. But they remember, the coach remembers, and they know what's at stake.
So as you mentioned, a pretty interesting quarterback situation we have here. After Brady Hart leaves, Troy Silberzon expecting to be the quarterback. Champ Smith transfers in. Troy goes back to more of really his natural position at wide receiver tight end, but he's a very versatile player, and he will be behind center and line up in the shotgun if they need him to. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. He has taken some snaps at quarterback this year, but he's primarily been outside playing wide receiver and tight end. But on the other side of the field, we saw ahead of the game that Champ Mons, the fourth, will not be suiting up tonight. It'll be Ephraim White, who will be the quarterback once again for the Vero Beach Indians. And we saw him week 1 against O'Galley, and just to be frank, he outran all the Commodores defenders into the end zone several times. A week ago, however, the stat sheet showed a little bit of a different story. It says that, hey, this guy can throw the ball around a little bit, threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Terry, if you're facing a guy who you really don't have much film on at quarterback, how do you defend that? You know that he can run, but now stats-wise he showed that he can pass.
Pray for rain. That's what you got to do because you and I saw this young man play when Champ got hurt in the first game of the season, and he is super fast.
Yeah.
And I was definitely excited to hear that he was coming to Florida State. He's committed to Florida State, so that's actually a good thing. But this young man, he wants to show his versatility, and he said, okay, I know I'm a wide receiver. I know I'm the Mr. Everything, but I also could play quarterback. So Coco's going to have a tough time on their hands, and they're going to have to really, truly try to hone in on this quarterback to making him a one-dimensional player.
Coco defense is always very stout, and this year I think they have a very talented defense once again. Last week, they did drop that game to Mainland, but they held them to 19 points and really fought back and made this a one-possession game and had a chance to even come back and win that game a week ago. So the defense has been there and will be there for the Cocoa Tigers. The big question is if you can't stop Ephraim White, who's going to be your answer on the offensive side of the ball to really have a track meet with this Indians team? They have a couple guys that are some home run hitters. You've seen Tank White do his thing on both sides of the ball. He'll be able to be a big-time threat outside for this Cocoa Tigers team. Javion Scott running the ball. He's been running it hard and well. Same thing with McCarthy. But overall, there's got to be 2 or 3 guys that aren't normally their star players for this Cocoa team that are going to have to step up in a big way, especially to win a difficult game on the road like this one, Terry.
Yeah, and I know Coach Schneider is telling his team, like, look, it's all hands on deck. Everyone's going to have to participate because this is a tough task, and they're playing at home. There's a lot of people that's already showing up in the stands, as you already can see. And there's been some fans here from Cocoa as well. They traveled up further south to come support their Tigers, and that's a good thing to see as well. So when Cocoa looks over onto the stands, they'll see some of their fans there as well.
Yeah, a great turnout tonight. And as we saw in week 1, Vero Beach faithful definitely show up for their Indians, and they have done so tonight well before game time. We saw a good crowd over there on the Indian sideline, and it's starting to fill up as we are getting ready for kickoff in just a short time here. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here from Billy Living's Field, the Citrus Bowl as they call it, here in Vero Beach, home of the Indians. Terry, we know a different Citrus Bowl. We know the Orlando Citrus Bowl, but yeah. I guess week 1 we were a little bit familiar with the Vero Beach Citrus Bowl.
Most definitely. And, look, I'll tell you what, it's going to get crowded in here like the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. So everyone knows what this game means. Everybody knows who Cocoa is, and everyone knows that Vero is trying to get the clean sweep for Brevard teams.
Yeah, this is a huge game for really both sides. Vero Beach has a chance to move on to 3-0 and really cement themselves as the best team around this area. I would say that there's probably some teams that are a little bit underrated. We saw Fort Pierce Central beat Merritt Island in the Kickoff Classic by a couple of scores, so they're a team that's underrated, a little bit on the rise, and probably seeing Vero Beach on that schedule and saying, hey, we want to mark our territory. But Cocoa on the flip side, they don't want to drop 2 games in a row, and especially as a team that can go on and win a 4th straight state title, they definitely do not want to start it out 1-2 to start this season. But overall, both teams are ready to play. This is going to be a great competition between a powerhouse on one side and the white and orange and Cocoa Tigers, and a powerhouse on the other side and the black and red and the Vero Beach Indians. So once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia. We have a dandy on our hands. There's going to be some great games all around the county as well. If you would like to tune in to another great game, O'Galley and Heritage, that one is going to be called by our own Zach Clark at O'Galley. That's a big one. O'Galley, really an emotional type of win a week ago as the Lightning delay held the game up. They come back, score touchdowns early. Rockledge fights back, and they have to salvage that win and fight and win that one late in the game. So that one was a pretty back and forth but an emotional win all around. And Heritage, they're coming off of a heartbreaker type of loss to Seminole High School as they were probably the underdogs in that game. I'm not a betting man. I don't know the favorites, but Seminole a year ago was 10-2 and was the favorites in that game, and Heritage only lost by 5 points. So O'Galley and Heritage really going to be an interesting contest there. But around the county, we have some teams traveling. Rockledge is going to be at Cardinal Mooney. Merritt Island's going to be at DeLand. We're going to see Vero over at Astronaut. So really some interesting games around the county. I know, Terry, you're interested in that Vero Astronaut game, as Astronaut's starting to be on the rise a little bit. Vero wanting to bounce back from that loss a week ago, so that'll be an interesting one over there.
Yeah, and I had an opportunity to talk to the athletic director for Astronaut, and he was saying, hey, we need some of the love that you all are getting throughout the county, because we're 2-0, and they have a lot of talent, and they're 2-0 for a reason. You know, they have a lot of good players, and they bought into the system. When you have a team that's already bought into the system early, that makes you dangerous, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them creep up even more in the standings for Brevard County.
Yeah, Astronaut 2-0 to start this season, wins over Palm Bay and Gateway. Now, those aren't really the most formidable opponents that they are going to face this season, but Vero will be a nice little test tonight. And as we have the national anthem being played right now, we will take a moment and be right back. Great job there by the Vero Beach Indians band and playing the national anthem. And after the national anthem, you hear that alert from Vero Beach, and that's their team getting ready to take the field. They have the purge sound coming out, Terry. We heard that week one. I think that tries to intimidate the opponent and strike a little fear into them.
Well, it struck a little fear in me. I thought we was on a weather announcement or something. But yeah, what a way to intimidate a team, and you come out on the field. Vero Beach said, we're 2-0. We're about to come here and give you all we have tonight.
Well, Vero Beach, the performance that they had from backup quarterback Ephraim White a week ago is what you're going to have this week against a Cocoa defense that has been stout year in and year out, and they have plenty of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball that will make plays. And it starts out with four-star safety C.J. Hester, leader of this defense. He's going to be the ball hawk on that side of the field. And if Ephraim, who I would say is more of a run-first quarterback because he's a wide receiver, so he's used to catching the ball and running with it. So if he goes to throw the ball, he's going to have to watch out where Mr. Number 1 Hester is, because he's going to be flying around the ball. And all around, Cocoa is known for having speed.
Right.
They're known for hitting, and they're going to cover very, very well. So I think that there's a couple of players on this Cocoa defense that are going to have to make some statements early and tell Ephraim, like, you better watch where you're throwing the ball because we're coming.
Yeah, and I think this will be a good opportunity to put a spy in, too. Obviously, he's fast, so whoever you're going to get the spy for this young man, he's going to have to be equally as fast, you know. And I don't know if that's going to be the case, but Cocoa's up for the challenge. You know, they came here a little bit late, but they look like right now that they're focused. They're running now. They know what's at stake.
Well, you see Cocoa running out throughout the field. Cocoa in their white and orange with the black helmets tonight. The captains for the Cocoa Tigers tonight is number 1, C.J. Hester, who we just highlighted a moment ago. Number 8, Duran Guilford. Number 50, Christopher Patterson. Sorry, Chavarius Thompson. That's Redman Thompson. And number 20, that's O'Keefe Battle. O'Keefe Battle, Duran Guilford, and C.J. Hester are the leader defensive backs for this Cocoa team. I think all three of them, they're going to have to make some plays tonight, really, whether it's defending a pass or even stopping Ephraim White if he gets into the open field, because we mentioned earlier, E.J. White, probably the fastest player on the field.
Yeah, I wouldn't say probably. He is the fastest player on the field, and he's going to be displaying that tonight. He wants nothing better than to stick it to the defending champion. So as we talk about all these players and all these different things, what would you say, Zane, is the keys to the game for Cocoa?
I would say the keys to the game, especially if Champ Smith is going to throw vertically, is to get in rhythm early. Don't want to start this game out slow, especially with a Vero Beach team that's going to put up points. Champ Smith going to have to connect with his receivers often and early. I know they do the little swing passes, they do the screens, a little kind of extension of their run game, but my main key for them is not only just connect on vertical passes, but connect on them early and get the passing game going. I would say on another thing, too, on the defensive side of the ball, a main point is stopping the run game. Now, it's going to be featured with E.J. White, I would say, is probably going to be taking the majority of the carries from the shotgun. But if you can contain him and force him to throw the ball, which he showed a week ago he can throw the ball,
yes,
but you would rather him throw the ball than to dance around and then head into the end zone. So those are, from an offense and defensive standpoint, I would say are the biggest keys to this victory for Cocoa. What would you say yourself?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. I think you have to establish that rhythm first, because you're the away team. So it's easy for you to get, stuck sometimes in the mud. So if you come out swinging and let the other team know that you mean business, that's what you need. And the same with Vero. Vero definitely has to control the tempo. You're the home team. You know how the field is placed. You know the ins and outs of this field. So you just got to establish the tempo.
Yeah, Vero Beach, they're going to try to establish their run game early. But conversely, for Cocoa, you don't want them to start a run game. You want to stop that run game as soon as you can. And when they played O'Galley 2 weeks ago, we saw it was mainly just a snap to E.J. White, and he was running it up the middle. There was not really many around the corners or sweeps or any type of misdirection type of runs. So that front seven for Cocoa, they're going to have to be ready for some smash mouth football.
Yeah, I'm excited. We in for a treat, Zane. I mean, when do you get two of the top teams that's in the state for some people, and they're playing tonight?
Yeah, this is definitely a big game tonight for both of these teams. Cocoa won this game 4 years ago, 42-41. So the rematch is about to kick off from Billy Livings Field, home of the Vero Beach Indians. This is the Cocoa Tigers and the Vero Beach Indians here on Space Coast Daily. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room. And you guys don't see it, but I see it. Terry Spain over there doing that seminal
tomahawk chop. I love it, man.
As I was wrong, and I'll admit on air that I was wrong, that Alabama did in fact lose that game to Florida State. I was expecting a different outcome, but Florida State took it to them. And wow. What did we just see there, Terry? A pooch kick on the start for Vero, and now they are controlling the ball.
Unbelievable, Zane. You have to, with special teams. I know the special teams coordinator is probably just pacing up and down this field because you have to catch the ball. If you don't catch the ball, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, there was a little pooch kick. You didn't see a traditional kick all the way down the field, and nobody for Cocoa went after it. So it's going to be Vero Beach taking over on offense. And this is interesting to start the game. And it's Ephraim White at quarterback, as mentioned, and Jonathan Hillsman next to him. We saw Hillsman take some carries week 1 against O'Galley. He was a little shut down, I would say, in the beginning, but he was starting to figure it out.
Like we got a early substitution. Don't know what the referee pulled one of the linemen out. I don't know exactly what that was about.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that one, but they got Mr. 74 back in there.
He didn't have his mouthpiece in. Safety first, right?
There's going to be a quick throw outside, and Ephraim White is going to start it off early. That's number 4. That's Latravius Woods on the reception on the little swing pass, and I think they took a little book out of Ryan Schneider's offensive playbook right there, because you're going to see a lot of that from Cocoa as well.
Yeah, these offense kind of mimic each other, so we're anxious to see how they're both going to match up and play tonight.
So the penalty is going to go on the offense, so they'll be moving back. We're going to have 1st and 15. Excuse me, we're going to have 1st and 10 right back over again. So it's going to be Ephraim White in the shotgun once again. And he's going to hand it off. Hillsman tries to find some room. And that's one thing that I mentioned, Terry, as that front 7 for Cocoa, they got to be ready for the run. They're normally ready, and right there they were ready.
Yeah, you have to be. And you want to definitely kind of encourage them to run, because you got all your men in the box, and this will be a great opportunity. Let's see if they could be able to sustain that.
Well, they run a little bit of a hurry up, and they try the run to the outside. Coco's got speed. You're not really going to be able to make that run outside as easily as you would think that you would. So Hillsman taken down for really no gain, and they're going to end up with a 3rd and long here.
Yeah, great job on Coco's defense, because you could have had your head hang down because you got a turnover, but they're not doing that. They're out here and they said, look, our defense is going to show up and we're going to show out as well.
So E.J. White is in the shotgun. He's going to throw it outside. That's a one-hand catch, and that is going to be it looks to be a 1st down, or just short of a 1st down.
I'll tell you what, a lot of these kids are doing these one-handed catches now, you know. I mean, that wasn't a thing when we played football. But I mean, well, you're a little younger than me, so it wasn't a thing back when I played. But these one-handed catches they're definitely an internet sensation as well.
Yeah, that was a nice grab there. That was number 12, Marcus Melbourne. We called his name quite a bit.
Yeah, and they're placing a lot of trust in their kicker. We was out here watching the kicker kick, and he was doing a pretty good job kicking. I don't want to jinx him, but he has a pretty good leg.
So that field goal is going to be up and good, and we're going to see our first points of the game with 10:25 left in the first quarter. Terry, the Indians strike first.
Yeah, but what a luxury to have, though, Zane. We saw this young man out here kicking earlier from 50 yards and making it. You know, so anytime they're in that range, they're going to give him a shot. And he said, when you give me a shot, I'll make it. Put me in like we down by 10, Coach.
Yeah, he definitely has the leg for probably 20 to 30 more yards than that kick right there. But nonetheless, Vero Beach, after recovering that pooch kick, will tack on the first points of the game. And whether it was a touchdown or a field goal for the Indian sideline, you probably are pretty happy with how you're starting the first 2 minutes of this game with points.
Yeah, but you got to be happy on Cocoa too, because you could have folded right there. And good job on the defensive coordinator to say, hey, we're not folding just because we got this turnover on special teams. So their defense really responded and answered the call.
Yeah, that was a big stop right there for Cocoa to not give up a touchdown in the first couple minutes of this game. So it'll be Vero Beach 3-0 with 10:25 left in the first. And they're going to do the pooch kick once again. This time it is fair caught by number 84 for the Tigers. That is Cayman Veris. So a smart play there to just fair catch it, let your offense go to work. It is going to be Champ Smith at quarterback. He's going to have number 3, that is Kanan McCarthy, in the backfield with him.
And we definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in. There's a lot of people that are tuning in to this game, and we definitely appreciate you all.
So there's a quick screen. That's going to go to Silberzahn, and he's not going to have too much room to run, but nonetheless, he got about 3-4 yards on first down, and that's how you really want to start your offense, is quick completions. Let's get the rhythm going for Champ Smith. Champ is throwing, and that was a risky pass, but it was caught.
Good job with the wide receiver for hanging on to that, because I thought the defensive back was going to knock that out, but he hung on to that and gave Cocoa Tigers a first down.
Yeah, that was number 21, Zaylen Chappell. We're going to be calling his name quite a bit, as he is a featured wide receiver for this Cocoa team. And really, that was a my man's better than your man type of throw right there.
Yeah, and I guarantee you Champ is going to go to him anytime, because he has that much trust in his wide receiver.
There's another throw outside. Silberzahn will pick up a couple.
He took a nasty hit, so much that his helmet came off. He's probably going to have to come out of the game for that play.
Yeah, he'll have to come out for a play, and he'll check right back in after this play for the Tigers.
We want to thank Miss Alberta Wilson for tuning in and listening. She's one of the faithful that's been listening to us ever since we've been on the air.
Thank you for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room. So Champ Smith dancing around, has a little bit of room to run. He's going to get dragged out of bounds at around the 40. It'll set up about a 3rd and short for the Cocoa Tigers. 8:58 left in this first quarter. If you are just tuning in, it was Vero Beach who was able to get a pooch kick and get on the board first with a field goal in the first minute 30 into this ball game. Champ Smith is going to go outside, and it's going to be caught, and that's going to be a first down. That pass caught right there by Jamal Smith. First down for Cocoa. Terry, this was what I highlighted ahead of the game, is getting Champ Smith in the rhythm early, and it seems like they're trying to do that. And you don't have to throw long passes. Those little out routes, those little quick swing passes to Silberzahn, just get him in rhythm early.
Yeah, and it's working. And you don't break it if it doesn't need to be. So he's got time in the pocket.
And that one, a very dangerous throw. That was nearly picked off. The intended target was Silberzahn.
And he's hurt. He's down.
It looks like he's in some pain right now.
And you know what? If you're Champ, you gotta put some more heat on that ball. He floated that a little bit, and when he floated it, the defender almost caught an interception. So he's got to do a better job and add some more heat when he's throwing that ball.
That was Jamarion Hillsman who was there for that, nearly picking that ball off. And if you're Cocoa in this huddle, you're probably telling Champ Smith, look, you don't have to make the home run play right away. They did put up points to start this game, but as long as we can trot down the field, that's what we want. We don't need a 30, 40-yard pass bomb right away. It would be nice, and if it's there, we'll take it. But you definitely don't want to throw it into harm's way right there. And really, the pooch kick wasn't a turnover technically, but it felt like a turnover. So you're talking about nearly a second turnover for the game, Terry.
Yeah, that would have definitely hurt if that was an interception. But good job of them not catching the ball, right?
Yep. So Champ Smith will roll out, and he's going to do the smart thing right there and just throw it out of bounds.
Yeah, live to fight another day. He could have easily tried to make something out of nothing, but I'm glad that goes to show you the coaching that he has too. If it's not there, throw it out of bounds. It's 3rd and 10.
That's one thing that you love to see from your quarterback is just throw the ball out of bounds, go to the next play, don't worry about losing the down.
This is a unique formation here with Coco because you can actually hit the running back out of the backfield with this play here.
Yep, they have splits on both sides. Champ Smith rolling out. And he's just going to toss that one out of bounds too. So a good stand there by the Indians as they're able to stop Coco from gaining any momentum. Coco with a couple of first downs there, but stopped around midfield. I think when you go back on offense, if you're Coco, you want to do a little bit more of what you started out doing, Terry, throwing the ball outside and maybe those quick little dink and dunks, because once you have one or two of those, the defense creeps up, and that's when it opens up the deep shot.
Yeah, but I also like to see them run the ball a little bit more. I mean, you got some pretty decent running backs back there. Run it. You're going to have to do that.
Terry, do you know who Ryan Schneider is? They're not going to be running the ball much. Ryan Schneider says the screen and swing passes are my run game.
Yeah, and for a lot of coaches, that's true. But quite honestly, you're going to have to feed your quarterback. Feed them and fan them. You're going to have to do that.
Yeah, they're going to have to mix it up a little bit. I would say bring the defense to put another man or two man in the box so you really have more room for these wide receivers to shake and get open on the outside. So the Vero Beach Indians will take over back on offense. It's going to be E.J. Wilson and Jonathan Hillsman back in the backfield. EJ takes the snap, and he's just going to do it himself. He goes outside and finds some room.
Just like I mentioned before, how I said that Coco needs to run the ball, look what Vero Beach is doing, and it's been successful.
Oh, they found some room, and he was able to pick up about 9 yards right there, setting up a 2nd and short. And that's one thing that I said is you're going to see a lot of just snap, and he's going to take off running. He's got quick speed, and if he gets out in the open, you're going to see the back of his cleats. There's going to be a quick pass, and that one's intercepted. That is Duran Guilford, and he's going to be dragged down at about the 10-yard line. That is Detroit Duran Guilford. He's one of the players that we saw as a captain, and we highlighted him as one of the players that's going to step up and have to make a play.
Total concentration. That's the reason why he was able to intercept that ball, because it could have fell out of his hand, but he was determined to catch that ball. A lot of people said defensive backs can't catch. He said, I'm going to show you.
Well, I mentioned ahead of the game the keys for offense and the keys for defense. They started out with the keys that I said for offense.
Yes.
And the defensive key is something that just happened. I don't know if Ephraim White is going to thread the needle anymore after just throwing that interception. So Coco will take over on offense at about the 10-yard line as it looks. Champ Smith will hand it off to McCarthy. He will fight for a couple.
And you don't want to do anything crazy right here because you have an opportunity to tie the game up. So just know that you have that 3 points in your back pocket, but don't do anything crazy. Score, yeah, try to score, but don't do anything that's going to, cause another turnover.
Champ takes the snap, throws it outside. And there it is. It's an interception.
He's gone, Zane, all day.
And it's going to be a pick six. That is number 7, Jordan Crutchfield for the Vero Beach Indians. Terry, I don't want to say it was the jinx that you just said, but it might be.
I said don't do anything cute, right? I said get in there and just do what you need to do in order to get the field goal if you can't get the touchdown. And what happened? A turnover, pick six, and he took it all the way to – there was no one catching him.
Champ Smith tried to throw the little bit of an out route right there, and Crutchfield was all over it.
What did I tell you about momentum? Momentum doesn't wear a jersey, but you know what sideline it's standing on, right?
And it's standing right now on that Vero Beach sideline, as after this extra point, they will go up 10-0. if you're Coco, all you had to do was really run the ball a couple of times. Don't throw it. You have a chance to tie the game like you mentioned, Terry. Just run the ball a couple of times up the middle. You had some momentum after a great interception by Duran Guilford, and the wind just got sucked right out of that sail.
Unbelievable. And you know what? You can look at the disappointment on some of the fans' face right here, because they're expecting a good game, and it's not over. There's a lot of football left. Vero Beach is known, as we talked about before, they're known for letting teams come back. One team was down, I think it was 30-0 or somewhere close to that, and they let that team come back and, so tie game.
It was the kickoff classic. They were up on Miami Norland 20-0, and Norland was able to come back and tie that one 30-30. So still a lot of ball game left, but with 6:46 left in the first quarter, it is Vero Beach 10, Cocoa Beach 0. Champ Smith probably not going to throw too many risky passes. We've already seen him thread the needle once. Troy Zilverzon was actually a little bit shaken up after that one, and that was nearly an interception. This time he makes the mistake and throws it. I would say there was a little bit of telegraphing on that pass.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he telegraphed that one.
He kind of looked right at the wide receiver, and if you're a cornerback, what are you doing? You're reading the quarterback's eyes, and you're saying, oh, I know exactly where he's going with it.
Said, thank you. I'm taking it to the house, and he hit his head on the goalpost for that.
He did. That was number 7, Jordan Crutchfield, who took it, I would say, unofficially about a 100-yard.
Yeah, he's about 97, 98 yards. But either way, it was a long run, and no one was catching him.
No, he took off downfield, and that is a big momentum play for Vero Beach in this first quarter. So we're not even halfway into the first quarter, and Vero Beach has now 2 scores to show for without the offense really doing much. The offense has, I would say, got 1 first down so far, and that's about it, and threw an interception. So the offense for Vero Beach hasn't done much, but it's been the special teams and the defense that have already came in clutch.
Yeah, the offense is saying thank you. We didn't have to do anything tonight. Keep it going. And like what we said before, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Juan Rodriguez, for tuning in. Got tons of people that are on right now watching this game. As you may or may not know, Coco is down 10-0.
There's a pooch kick, and that one's going to be taken upfield, but wow. As he was actually body slammed right there.
Violent hit. I think Vero Beach says, okay, we do want to beat both teams from Brevard, and they're up 10-0, and so they're having a good showing right now. But like I mentioned to you before, Zane, it is not over, and Coco needs to know that it's not over. You've been down before. Go out there and show these fans why they took that hour drive to come up here and support you.
Yeah, Vero Beach has all the momentum on their side right now, but all it takes is 1 or 2 Coco first downs to get that rhythm going again, and next thing you know, the Coco Tigers are on their way into the end zone. So still a lot of ball game left. As mentioned, 6:39 left in this first quarter. It's going to be Champ Smith throwing it outside to Silverzon. He's not able to wiggle loose. That was a good open field tackle there by number 3. That is Jamarion Hillsman. And we've seen both the Hillsman brothers, Jamarion Hillsman and Jonathan Hillsman, respectively, one playing linebacker and the other playing running back for this Vero Beach team. They both had an impact early in this game. So we're going to have about a 2nd and 7 for the Coco Tigers. Champ Smith in the shotgun once again, spread set. And he's going to go short with it, and it's going to be tipped. That's a difficult throw to make because you have a big defensive end right in front of your face. He's holding his hands up, and it's nearly like threading the needle as you would downfield, but short pass-wise.
Yeah, and I like to see him step more into that pass. You know, he kind of just lobbed it up because his receiver was there. If you would have gave him that opportunity to run the ball, he probably would have had about 15 or 20 yards. So he's got to do a better job of throwing the ball.
Champ Smith will take the snap. He's going to throw it, and that's going to be incomplete. There's going to be a flag on the play. It's
definitely pass interference.
Probably going to be a defensive hold or a pass interference. I think they're going to call a defensive hold.
Yeah, because I don't think he was 5 yards in front. So,
yeah, they're going to call a defensive hold on Vero Beach, so we're going to move the ball up for the Tigers. Actually, that might be a pass interference.
Yeah.
They're moving that up 15 yards. So, yes, that is going to be a defensive pass interference. And the Tigers now will have 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Champ Smith will hand it off. And Javion Scott able to wiggle for a couple. And that's what you said, Terry. Run the ball,
yes.
Get the running game going, and then open up that pass.
Yeah, you definitely got to run. Because if you look at Vero Beach, they're expecting to run again. But look at it. If you look at it, it's one-on-one coverage out on the side. Give your receiver a chance, but make sure he's open before you throw that ball.
You got Tank White at the bottom of your screen. Champ Smith looking deep. And that's going to be another pass interference.
But that's what you got to do, Zane.
Yep.
You know, they had 2 key penalties on that play, but the wide receiver was definitely going to be open. And he's got bumped. So good job and good call by the referee. And we have a player down for Vero Beach.
Jamal Smith was the intended receiver right there, and he did a great job of beating the defensive back on the outside and getting open. Had a chance at that if he wouldn't have been pushed. So great opportunity there. So an automatic 1st down for Cocoa after the pass interference.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, Zane, you can try to attack them, but don't get too cute because you were fortunate enough to have 2 penalties that's bringing you down on Vero Beach side of the field. So be smart decision making, and if you got to run as a quarterback, run it.
Yep. So once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia here from Billy Living's Field, home of the Vero Beach Indians. Vero Beach leading currently 10-0 with 5:17 left in this first quarter. Throw outside to Cannon McCarthy, and what a play right there. That's number 32. That is Javaris Drayton, who came in there, and he flew in like a missile.
Oh, yeah, he was ready. He was ready all day. And that's what you want to see as a coach, him sacrificing his body to go out there and make a play, and that's what he did.
So a big-time play, and that's going to be a loss of about 5 as they tried to do a swing pass over to Cannon McCarthy that was unsuccessful. Champ Smith once again in the shotgun. Empty set.
A double move would be wonderful right here, Zane.
And he's going to run, and that's going to be a horse collar.
Yeah.
So
like I mentioned to you before, if you don't have anything, run the ball, quarterback,
Yep.
and that's what he did. And now he's got an opportunity to get another penalty that's going to bring Cocoa down even closer.
Yep, that's going to be another automatic 1st down for Cocoa with a horse collar penalty. And I'll go ahead and say it, Terry. 2 weeks ago when they played O'Galley, we didn't see a single horse collar called, and we probably saw 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, and it's the intensity of the game, right? You're up 10-0 against Cocoa, the state champions. Oh yeah. Sometimes you get a little loose, and that's what happened with the defender there.
Well, I will say I like to see that the referees are calling everything. We've seen some missed calls over the past couple weeks, and it happens. Everybody's human, but I like to see those called. So a swing pass out. That's Tank White. He's going to pick up about a yard, not much room to run there.
No, the defense swarmed on that play. It's almost like they already knew what was going to happen. So you got to give them a little trick. You do a double move here, have the defenders pop up, and then you're sailing, smooth sailing in the end zone.
So Champ Smith getting the play from the sideline. Down to the 4-minute mark here in the first quarter. Cocoa is driving, had a couple of penalties to give them some 1st downs. Champ Smith will take the snap, and that one's going to be batted back.
I like to see Champ. I know he's a pocket quarterback, but I like to see them move him out of the pocket and hit a receiver on the run, because him standing back there, those defenders are getting their hands up every time. And what could have been a great play is for none.
So now it's going to be about a 3rd and 9 for this Cocoa offense. They're at about the 28-yard line. It should be field goal range or just about field goal range. So if you don't get the first down here, just get something positive so you can get that field goal kicker an opportunity.
This is going to be a safe play.
And it's going to be a throw downfield. And it's
going to
be.
He had it. Good job with the receiver, but he just couldn't hang on to it because that would have been a first down.
Ends up being incomplete. So they are going to send on the field goal unit. It's going to be number 77, Kalen Gonzalez, lining up for the field goal attempt for the Tigers. And that field goal is no good. So although the missed field goal, you got to look at the positives of the drive. Yes, some field goals gave you first downs, but you kind of figured out what the bread and butter is to move the ball. It's a run game here, a swing pass here, and maybe a little bit of an out route there. You don't need to attack downfield and gain 30 yards every play.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to do it all in one swoop, but, you definitely want to shake it up a little bit. Keep them off balance. And right now, they're not keeping Vero Beach off balance. Vero's almost like they're in their huddle. And you don't want that, especially as a road team.
So the Indian offense will take over and back on offense as we have 3:41 left here in the first quarter. E.J. White will hand it off, and it's going to be Hillsman. And that's a great wrap-up tackle there. That was number 20, O'Keefe Battle. One of the players that we highlighted ahead of the game. He was one of the captains for the Cocoa Tigers. Him, Guilford, and Hester are going to have big games.
Yeah, great tackle by O'Keefe. He's a senior, so he's definitely going to have to put his senior talent on display tonight because Vero Beach is going to give him all they got tonight.
Especially with some speedy guys, Terry. Vero Beach has got some speed as well. It's just going to be a run sweep outside for E.J. White. Not able to do much. He got a couple. So it's about to be a 3rd and about 3.5.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them run this ball again. I think they're pretty complacent with running the ball because they know who they got in the backfield. When you got White back there, that guy can make anything happen.
He can. A lot of speed from E.J. White, so it'll be interesting to see what this play call is. It's going to be a quick slant, and it's going to be caught. That is going to be a first down. So the completion goes to number 9 for the Indians. That's Austin Banshaff. That's going to move the chains.
Yeah, Austin said, I want to get in on the action too. Hit me. And the quarterback definitely hit him.
So E.J. White with trips to his right. And he'll keep it on this one. He's going to go outside with it. He's got some room to run. And he'll pick up right about 7. So E.J. White seeing early that middle run against this Cocoa front, it's not going to work. You're going to have to bounce it outside.
Yeah, but they have speed outside as well. So
they do.
He realizes, this team is fast as well. And I would love to have seen this young man play his natural position tonight,
Yep.
But due to, the quarterback, Champ Mons, is not out, he's going to have to do yeoman's work tonight.
That's going to be a little misdirection, hand up off the middle, and Hillsman is still going. Wow, what a run there for Jonathan Hillsman as he was able to keep the run game going.
A little trickery there. As the defensive coordinator, you always got to tell your players, watch your eyes, trust your eyes, trust your eyes. And Coco didn't trust their eyes there.
So Hillsman will take the snap and go outside once again. He's got some room to run on the outside. And that looks to be another Indian first down on about a gain of 12. And this is the key for Coco now is stopping that run. And that's what I said early is you cannot let them run. You want Ephraim White to throw the ball. And why do you want him to throw the ball? Because he'll throw a pick, and we already saw Duran Guilford pick one off and nearly take it to the house. So that's what you want to do is force E.J. White to throw it. E.J. White will take the snap. He's going to roll out, and he's going to just throw that one up. Great coverage there by C.J. Hester as he used the sideline as his friend right there, Terry. And if you're a cornerback and you have a guy going towards the sideline, just give him a little nudge if the referee's not going to say nothing.
Yeah, he tried to set that tone and say, hey, you try that again, same exact thing is going to happen.
He did. He's not going to allow a guy to just run past him. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. And we are approaching the end of the first quarter here with about 41 seconds left. There's a quick throw to the middle. That is caught by number 4. That is Latravius Woods for the Indians. Picks up about 4.
And good tackle by Raymond McCoy, but he came up a little gimpy. He's out stretching his leg a little bit. I'm hoping that he's able to, come back and definitely play in. He didn't want to come out. He looked over to the sideline and said, no, I'm not coming out. But that was definitely a awkward tackle.
It was. So 3rd and medium for the Indians. E.J. White takes the snap, and he's going to take it himself. He's got room to run in the middle, and it's going to be another Indian first down. The quarterback draw, an actually really good play call right there as they expect you to throw it on 3rd down, and a wide open gap for E.J. White to run, Terry.
Yeah, and when you got that much speed, they're going to do that every single time. It's giving you 7-8 yards a carry. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. Nope.
So as the first quarter comes to an end, the Vero Beach Indians are now trotting into the red zone. It's going to be quarter number 2 with the Vero Beach Indians leading here 10-0 after 1. As we take a little mini break, we'll be right back with the action in just a moment. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily.
Space Coast Daily is Brevard's most trusted news. Through spacecoastdaily.com and Space Coast Daily's social media reach, hundreds of thousands of people stay informed every day. Through Space Coast Daily's unmatched digital reach with the Space Coast Daily's direct mail newspaper and Space Coast Daily, the magazine in print, our loyal and engaged viewers enjoy free local news they can trust every day, and all at no charge thanks to our successful advertising clients. And also at our special events at Space Coast Daily Park in Vero, where hundreds of thousands of people see our clients' advertisements. Call today to get your message seen on Space Coast Daily and take your business to new heights. Get launched with Space Coast Daily. Call 321-323-4460 today.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Start of the second quarter here. Vero Beach already threatening as they move the ball well, and that's going to be a throw to the corner of the end zone. It is caught. That is number 4, I believe. No, excuse me, that is number 8.
Jonathan Hillsman.
Yep, that is Jonathan Hillsman, the running back. in for the touchdown for Vero Beach. So Vero Beach jumping out to a quick 16-0 lead here to start the second quarter. And Terry, you said something about momentum. I don't think it's left the Vero Beach side, especially to start this game.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to establish the tone early, and they're doing just that. I mean, everything is clicking on them. Everything's clicking for this team right now, and these fans are excited.
The fans are definitely excited. The Vero Beach faithful have packed out this one, so they're ready.
No one would ever thought that this game would have been 17-0, Zane. You know, I would have probably given it 3-3 or 7-7 or 10-7. But for Coco not to have scored any points right now, that's kind of disheartening. And it goes to show you the level of talent that Vero Beach has.
Yep.
And just imagine, they're doing all of this. I know a lot of these points were scored on defense and special teams, but they're doing this without their number one quarterback, and Champ Mons.
And their number one quarterback is number one. He is the number one quarterback in the country for the class of 2028. So a special player that Vero Beach does not have tonight. And really, E.J. White has, besides the interception, done a decent job of running this offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting more comfortable. You can see, you know, he's actually been the quarterback for a few games, so he's getting more comfortable in the offense. And that can only mean one thing. Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
So the kickoff is out the end zone. So the Cocoa Tigers will start this possession on their 20-yard line. And we have 11:54 left as the second quarter has just started. The Cocoa Tigers down 17-0, but still a lot of time. We still have the second quarter and the second half to go. This Cocoa team showed an ability to come back in that game a week ago that they lost to Mainland 19-14. You just don't want it to get to a point where it's out of reach for you to come back. So offense going to have to start getting something going. And there's a little run outside. There's not much room to run there. That is going to be, I believe, a loss of one.
Yeah, and Lance Stone, the linebacker for Vero Beach, he read that like a book. I quite honestly, it's almost like he was in the huddle and he said, yeah, I'll do the tackling this time.
So the Tigers now with 2nd and 11. Champ Smith still in the shotgun. He's going to roll out. He has some room to run on the outside, and that looked to be a first down. So,
and he's going to have to do that tonight, Zane. I mean, you're going to have to do everything that you're not accustomed to doing in order to get back, because keep in mind, you're down 17-0. So if that requires you to run the ball as a quarterback when you're not used to running the ball, you got to do it later out on the line, because it's going to do wonders for your team and let your team know that, hey, this is not my forte, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Yes, indeed. So, did not get the first down. It's 3rd and 1. And that's going to be very, very close. We're going to see if they give him the first down. They do not. It looks like we're going to have 4th and inches.
And the way this game is going, I know technically you don't want to go for it on your side of the field, but you got to go for it here.
You have to.
And I wouldn't even be in the shotgun right now. If you only need a half a yard, get underneath the center and push it. It's a false start here.
Now we're going to have a timeout. Vero Beach, they're going to talk this one over. And like you said, Terry, if it's 4th and inches, and I know some of these guys watched the game last night, you get behind your quarterback and you push his butt over the first down line.
Was there a game last night?
There was a game last night, and unfortunately my Cowboys.
I just wanted you to say that. I knew it was a game.
Yeah, my Cowboys lost it 24-20, but we saw a lightning delay ourselves for the O'Galley Rockridge game, but that was an even longer lightning delay that they had last night in that ball game.
Yeah, it was definitely a long game. I was trying to hang in there, but I had to go to sleep. Father Time calls every time.
So 4th and inches with 10:40 left in the second quarter. Vero Beach leading 17-0. I don't think Coco needs to be fancy here. I would say just run it right up the middle, but you got to get the first down somehow. This is an important play right here, and that's gonna be offsides on Vero Beach. That's gonna be an automatic first down for Coco.
That was a design play too, Zane, because if you see the lineman raise his hand to throw off the defensive lineman, and it worked. Good job on that. You didn't even have to run and play. So great job, great call, especially coming out of the timeout.
If you can, we have another penalty right here. I believe that's going to be on Vero Beach as well. So a free 5 yards for Coco.
They've been getting a lot of good penalties, but they haven't capitalized on these penalties. They're going to have to capitalize on these penalties.
Yeah, you got to somehow use these penalties to your advantage to not only just move down the field but put up points. So Champ Smith is going to – that was number 84, Cayman Varys. That was the intended receiver there. And I will say the defender was draped all over.
That was a huge miss by the referees because he was definitely a PI. That was pass interference there. And you could see the crowd. They didn't like that at all for Coco. They were screaming and yelling. So you could definitely see it from up here. That was a missed opportunity.
I love how in college and NFL they ask their referee, analyst, expert what it was like. I wish we had an expert. We're the experts right now. We can say that was a PI. So Champ Smith is going to go deep. And that one nearly picked off again. Champ is down. He took a hard hit there, but he's able to get right back up.
I had to describe that play in one word, Zane. It would be ouch. Because he got hammered on that play, and he felt it. He's going to – a good job for him staying in the game, but that was a tough hit.
It was a tough hit, but that was also a very dangerous throw. And he's lucky that Troy – Silverzon was in the area to put a hand on it as that was about to be another interception. And he's going to go outside. The pass is incomplete. Silverzon was the intended receiver. We have about a 4th and 6 there. They're going to send on the punt crew. So
yeah, you have to. But I would have loved to see him hang on to that. That was a good thrown ball, and he should have caught that coming out of bounds. But he dropped it, and now they're going to have to punt the ball again. And Vero Beach said, thank you. We'll take it every time. Look, they got their return man back there. It looks like he's ready to return a kickoff. They got to be careful. This is dangerous territory.
So the punt will go straight up. And Coco's going to catch a break there as it hits the leg of the Vero Beach player, and that is going to be Coco's ball after they recover it.
Did you hear that knock? That was opportunity. Because I'm telling you, it hit him in the back, and good job on the special teams for jumping on that ball.
Yep. A great opportunity now for Coco with the penalties that they've been able to get, and now this. You're going to take any way to move down the field that you can, and so that's about a free 20 yards that they just got. So Champ Smith will take the snap, and it'll be a pitch over to McCarthy. He's going to run outside. He has a little bit of room to run. And that'll be a nice gain of 8, but it looks like there's some laundry on the field. It might be coming back, Terry.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know if there was an illegal shift, but I don't know if the ref is going to pick that flag up. But it looks.
Yep.
That's exactly what it was.
So it's going to be a 5-yard penalty and move the Tigers back. With 10 minutes left here in the second quarter, it is 17-0 Vero Beach. But once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Coco just got a little bit of a break as they punted it. It deflected off of a Vero Beach defender, and they recovered it. Champ Smith will fake the pitch, and he's going to go deep. And it is going to be intercepted, actually dropped But we're going to have a penalty right there.
There's a few flags on the field.
Yeah, they saw that was a massive pass interference. That was number 14, Jamal Smith, once again, who is the intended receiver. And really, if you're Coco, you don't want to risk a deep ball like that into double coverage, but you're not going to say no to a pass interference.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that's the only reason why Coco, if they're in the game, that's why they're in the game, because they've been getting massive amounts of penalties, but they're not calculating on those penalties. They're not capitalizing on those penalties. But they're going to have to do something here. Even if you get 3 points, you need to put some points on the board because you do not want to get skunked here.
Champ Smith will hand it off to McCarthy. Not much room to run up the middle. So Coco trying to get something going on the offensive side of the ball. Really, they've moved the ball down the field, but it's been penalties that have been helping them. So pass interference here, pass interference there will get you 15 yards at a time. Champ Smith will throw it over. Silver's on outside. He makes a little shake move and runs through a defender. And that's going to be, I believe, a helmet-to-helmet penalty on Vero Beach. So it seems as if the penalty is going to go for we're going to have a penalty that will go against Coco, and that's going to move them back. Not exactly sure what the call was on that one, but it looked like it might have been an
and that's unfortunate because that's exactly what she was looking for, to get the ball downfield. And for that to be a penalty, that can kind of deflate the team.
2nd and 20. Champ Smith's going to go over the middle. It's a little high for Troy. Silverzon not really ready for that one as he was just going into his break. And that was the heat that you were talking about, but it wasn't the right timing.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. And you got to throw the ball a little bit better than that. The receiver was open. You just got to hit him in the number so he can make something happen because he didn't made it happen before.
As mentioned in the beginning of this broadcast, no Brady Hart, no Javen Box, so it's not the offense that Coco is used to, and they're still trying to get in their rhythm. Champ Smith rolling out. He's looking deep and just has to throw it out of bounds. And Vero Beach sideline is wanting an intentional grounding, but it did look to get to the line of scrimmage. But it's going to be a 4th and 20, so the Tigers are going to have to punt. Did he drop the flag, Terry? It looks like he did. They're going to talk about it. I think they're going to say intentional grounding.
Yeah, the Vero Beach sideline was lobbying for that penalty, and they got it.
They were indeed. So, yes, it's going to be intentional grounding on Coco. That'll move them back.
Yeah,
another 10 yards.
The Coco Tigers is looking like the Clemson Tigers. You know, I mean, they're not winning this game, so they're going to have to do something to in order to get back into this game.
So Coco backed up, and really they're backed up all the way back to Coco right now, Terry.
Yeah, definitely.
It's about 4th and 30. They're going to have to punt this one away. That one nearly blocked.
It's a good high kick, though.
It's going to be returned, and there's some room to run for Hillsman. He's got room to run on that sideline. He's going to cut back, and he's going to get
down at the 1 yard line.
Right at the 1 yard line.
I know it looks bad, Zane, but great job on the special teams for sticking with it and getting the guy down at the 1 yard line, because he could have easily let him waltz in the end zone, but there's a flag. It looked like it was a horse collar on that play as well.
So my apology. That was actually number 6. That was Trayvon Townsend on the return for the Indians, and he takes it all the way down to the 1 yard line. So the referees are in there talking right now, and it looks like they might be moving that ball back. I'm not exactly sure what the call is. They have not explained it yet. They're just trouting the ball back right now. And if you're Coco, who cares about what penalty is? You're going to say, hey, we don't want them down at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, so they had a blind side block. They got him on one of them. And then the horse collar on the other play.
So the horse collar block, or excuse me, the horse collar and the block, and the blindside block will be negated, and it's going to be Vero Beach ball, but they are going to be. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong on this one. I was shocked about what just happened.
They're going to let him re-kick it.
Yeah, they're going to say re-punt as they put him back at the same spot. And we're going to do this all over again. If you're Coco, you're going to say, hey, we may be punting this one out of bounds, Terry.
Yeah, definitely don't give the returner an opportunity to run this back, because you just saw what happened on that last play. Don't feed the beast.
There's been a couple big plays that have been negated by penalties.
We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. And thanks Sherrod Thompson for tuning in. Antoine Cuff. There's been a lot of people that's been watching this game tonight. Although Coco is down 17-0, thank you all for still tuning in.
8:47 left here in the second quarter. And Coco really could use
a miracle.
Well, I was going to say they could use another punt that hits off of a defender and get the recovery. I know you can't like purposely try to do that, but so there's a little bit of confusion again. And this is probably the most confusing play that I've ever seen, Terry.
Yeah, and it's taking a long time. I'm glad that the referees are trying to get this right, because these referees are actually being graded as well. You know, because this determines if they're able to go do playoff games and things of that nature too. So good job for them getting it right. But, man, this is taking a long time for them to get this right.
So instead of – we first thought it was going to be Vero Beach at the 1, and then we thought they were moving back because of a penalty, and then we realized it was no Coco repunting. But excuse us and – pardon us, because it's going to be Vero Beach ball at their own 35-yard line. So Vero Beach taking over. It's E.J. White back in the shotgun. Hillsman motioning to the other side of him.
Try to draw him off sides there. Good job on Coco for not jumping over, because most teams would have jumped over off sides.
So it's going to be E.J. White throwing it, and it's going to be caught. And that's going to be about a gain of 30. That was number 9 for the Vero Beach Indians. That's Austin Banzahaf again.
Austin's had some really key plays, and he's definitely telling the coach, like, hey, I'm ready. Anytime you call my number, I'll catch anything that's out there.
Pretty good looking throw and catch for the Indians as they move down the field. Tigers need a stop right here, and as they are closing in on field goal range, that would be worst case scenario is a field goal. So E.J. White will take the snap, and he's going to go back to number 9. And that should be another first down, and it is.
It's like Vero Beach is making it look easy, Zane. It's always an issue for Coco to kind of move the ball, but Vero's making it look real easy. And I know this is their home field and their home turf, and they have all their fans here, but you got to do a better job of stopping the offense on here if you're Coco.
Well, it seems as if the Coco defense is a little bit tired. The offense not able to really move the ball much, and the defense has spent the majority of the time on the field, and that gets your defense tired. So the defense that has played pretty well is starting to wear down a little. So there's a throw outside. That'll be caught for about a gain of 5.
I think if the cornerback on that play would have went for the pick versus the tackle, he probably would have still been running right now.
It was tossed up there for either player could have caught that one. It was the Indians player who caught it for about a gain of about 4. So there's some movement right there, and that's going to be a false start.
I tell you what, the refs' arms are going to be hurting because they've been slinging that. We talked about it before. They're going to be good in cornhole because they get an opportunity to sling the flag the entire game. So they've been busy. They've been getting their money's worth tonight.
They have. So clock will keep rolling as we are approaching the 6.5-minute mark here in the second quarter. 2nd and 13 for the Indians. E.J. White is going to roll out, and he has some room to run down the sideline. He's going to just scamper out of bounds.
Just speed. I mean, we talked about how fast this young man. We had an opportunity to see him play 2 weeks ago when they played against O'Galley. But the speed that he has is phenomenal.
So with 6:29 left in this second quarter, it's an official water break as both teams will go to the sideline. And we'll take this time to thank our sponsors. As always, Mike Erdman Automotive, Auto Expo 95, Health First, Eastern Florida State College, and All Points. We'd like to thank our sponsors. And if you need a new car, Mike Erdman, that is the place to go. He's got a couple of dealerships. Mike Erdman Nissan is the most notable. The Cadillac one is coming up soon, and
well, they have it already.
Oh, it's already up.
It's up, yeah.
And rolling. So Mike Erdman Cadillac, go get yourself a brand new ride. Health First. I have Health First myself. gotta love their insurance. And shout out to Eastern Florida State College. So the Indians have 3rd and short. It's about 3rd and 2. E.J. White takes the snap, and he's going to run it right up the middle, and he has nobody in front of him, and he's going to get into the end zone.
And I was going to call that. I said I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if the quarterback catched it, take this ball and run with it, and he did exactly that. Man, it's going to get real ugly here tonight, Zane, if Coco can't capitalize and put some points on the board.
Well, the keys to the game that we talked about ahead of the game, Terry, they haven't stuck to them. And the main one was being let Champ Smith get a couple passes in rhythm early. You don't need to throw the bombs downfield. Just get him in rhythm, a couple short passes here and there, slants, swing passes. Allow your quarterback to get comfortable because, let's be honest, this is a hostile environment.
Yeah.
Vero Beach, their whole fan group came out, and they're not going to be afraid to play this Coco Tigers team.
And I'll tell you what, Coco, you have to be real cautious because if you get a running clock put on you, and in this stadium, this is exactly what Vero Beach is looking for. They haven't forgot what happened 4 years ago when they lost in overtime by 1 point. They're trying to not to make this game close, and it's not even close right now. 24-0, you have to be shocked. You can't blame it on the drive because it's only an hour away. You can't blame it on a lot of these things. Vero Beach came out here and displayed their talents, and it looks like Coco's just letting them do anything they want to do.
You know, it's really preparation when it comes down to it. There's two teams that are going to show up on Friday, and one team is going to be prepared to play, and one team's going to be prepared to win. And that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
And Coco, you would think after the loss a week ago, would be coming out with some anger, you know, probably some passion, some want and will to play. But Vero Beach says, hey, we went all the way to Gainesville and beat Buckholz, and now we have a game on our home field against the back-to-back state champs, and we're going to try to go ahead and make this one a 3-0 start for us in the season. And right now they're leading 24-0 with 6:22 left in the first half. Terry, if you're Coco with this much time left, what do you got to do, especially because you don't want to let the Indians get the ball back and put up more points?
Yeah, you're going to have to throw the ball, but you're going to have to make smart decisions. You don't want any more turnovers. And it may, and I don't want to cost anybody position, but this may cause for a quarterback change if they can have to see if the other quarterback can come in and shake up something. When you're down 24-0, you got to do what it takes to win this game.
You do indeed, so it'll be interesting. Well, they're going to run it right up the middle, and it's about 8-9 yards for Cannon McCarthy to run and get a solid gain on first down, and I think that's what it is right there. You got to run the ball, and really with this amount of time, like you said, you got to pass the ball, but you also want to bleed the clock a little bit and not allow the Indians to have another shot at it.
Yeah, and look, they're playing smart football. I know the Indians is giving them that 3, 4, 5 yards, but you got to look at the wins. And these are wins right now. You're down 24-0 with 5 minutes and 53 seconds left. But if you can score a touchdown here, that does wonders for your team. And it doesn't matter how you score, as long as you score.
So there's another run right there by McCarthy.
And there's a flag. And you say where? So there's a flag.
Where?
On the field.
So
I learned that one day. I was broadcasting a game, and the announcers, I forgot what game it was, said there's a flag, and the entire stand says where, and the announcer said on the field. So I was like, I got to use that one. So next time we're gonna do that. Next time we see a flag.
So they'll move back a little bit. Champ Smith will take the snap. He does have someone open, and that one just tossed out of bounds, and Champ is down. He took a shot right there.
Yeah, and that was definitely his ribs too. So hopefully he can bounce back up, but you got to look at your backup. Whoever your backup should be throwing now, because that was an ugly hit, and he's not going to be able to take too many of those hits.
He did have Zaylen Chappell, number 21, open.
And there's a flag.
Yep.
There's a flag.
Where?
On the field.
It was maybe a little bit too soon.
Yeah, come on. You got to get you there. Come on now.
Yeah, I got to be better on top of that one. So the flag is going to move Coco back again. And
that's got to be tough. When you get a penalty and your quarterback takes a hit like that, that's a double whammy.
Yeah, they're going to bring Champ into the tent and look at him for a second. So it's going to be freshman quarterback number 16, Trenton Washington, that's stepping into the game. And this is a big moment for you. And we saw 2 weeks ago the starting quarterback for O'Galley, Joseph Allen, go down. And Brody Grantland, the backup, came in, and he was a little bit rattled.
Yes.
So the backup quarterback here has to just try to calm those nerves, take it one play at a time. And really, I think with how much time that there is on the clock, you don't want to make any errors and give them great field position. So I would say just run the ball. It's 3rd and a mile right now.
Yeah, it's 3rd in West Palm Beach.
It is 3rd and 33, as the scoreboard says.
I wouldn't be surprised to see either hand the ball off or he run it himself.
Yep. Well, they're going to let him throw it. He's going to go out wide with it. There's a little bit of room to run, but he's going to be bounced out of bounds. Time will run, but they're going to have to send the special teams unit out there to punt this one.
That was a safe play. You know, only person that can catch the ball is your receiver, and that's what you want. You didn't want him try to throw the ball in the middle of that pack there, because if he would have did that, they probably would have been running it back for pick 6. So good job for him just maintaining and keeping the downs. But they definitely got to punt this, and that's actually a win, because that if they would have did anything other than that, it could have been a turnover.
Well, they're going to have to punt this, but they're not punting it. The offense is staying on the field right now.
I've seen it where the quarterback or whoever is going that's has the ball, they'll punt it. So that could be one of those plays where the quarterback punts the ball regardless and just have a different formation.
Well, it looks like Ryan Schneider's right next to. Yep, Ryan Schneider stood right next to the umpire on the sideline and waited until the last second was up and called that timeout to run that clock down and bleed it as much as he can. But let's be honest, there's 3:31 left on the clock. You're going to punt it away to Vero Beach. Unless you have a boomer of a punt right here, Vero Beach is going to have a really good field position with still a lot of time to score. And if you're Coco, you cannot allow the Indians to put up points here before the half, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. If you go down 27-0 or even 31-0 into halftime, you're talking about danger zone, and you're not talking about danger zone. You're talking about it's over zone.
Yeah, and they don't want that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Coco doesn't want it, but Vero does.
Yep.
And they want to solidify. They want to be 3-0. That's actually saying a lot. And they're going to be 3-0 without their number one quarterback in the nation in his class. So just let that all sink in too as well.
One thing you got to know about a Coach Schneider Coco team is they're not going to lay down. So you're going to see this Coco team fight all game long, but you really cannot have them put up any more points. So that punt is short, and it's actually, picked up off the hop, but a humongous hit.
Talking about guts. You know, the punt return on that play displayed that, look, hey, I am not scared of you at all, and I'm trying to make a play in front of all these fans.
Honestly, I'm surprised he was able to hang on to that one. That was number 6, Traven Townsend, that fielded that punt and just took a shot.
Traven wanted to be on ESPN, because if he was able to catch that and run it back, he'd have definitely been on ESPN.
That would have been a spectacular return if he was. But as I mentioned, Terry, setting the Indians up with great field position at the 44-yard line. So E.J. White is in the shotgun still, 3:22 left in the half. E.J. White hands it off. Hillsman will run it up the middle, gain about 1, maybe 2. And I think with the Indians leading by 24, they're not going to be in a hurry, and they're also not going to throw any risky passes. They're going to take what the defense gives them. Maybe they'll throw some quick little passes, but they're going to be comfortable with this lead, and they're going to get the ball to start the second half too, so they're not going to force any throws.
Yeah, they're going to get Coco's going to get a heavy dose of the run, I believe. You know, so they're going to have to be prepared for that.
White will fake it, and he's going to run around the outside. And he just runs it to the sideline. That's going to be a loss of about 6.
Yeah, and that goes to show you that he's not really a quarterback, right? You know, you want to see him throw that ball away if there's nothing there. But he's a playmaker. So he was trying to make something out of nothing, and he couldn't at that time. Great job on Coco's defense for stopping him. But that goes to show you that he's not a quarterback.
Well, also another mistake there is that stops the clock. So with 3rd and probably 17, 18 to go, if Coco conversely can get the ball back, they're going to try to score a touchdown and get this halftime deficit down to 17. E.J. White is going to throw it outside, and it's dropped. That was number 4, Marcus Melbourne, Latravius Woods, who was the intended receiver, and he flat out just dropped it.
Latravius tried to run in the woods after that. I'm telling you, that young man, if he would have caught that, he would have did something electrifying, because his eyes, you could see his eyes from up here in the broadcasting booth, that he was ready to take that ball and go straight to the end zone.
Well, it was 3rd and long, but if he caught that, he had a lot of room to run. So it would have been at least close to a first down, maybe even more if he could wiggle and make some guys miss. But with just under 2.5 minutes to go, this is an opportunity Cocoa needs to put up points. So punt return goes for about 6 or 7 yards. So Cocoa has the ball with 2:16 left in this half. And every team has practiced a 2-minute drill. This is where you got to use it right here, Terry.
Yeah, you definitely got to use it, but you also have to be smart too, Don't try to make a play because you know your team is down. Obviously, you want to make a play, but make a great play, and not one of these plays that you just throwing it up and it's anybody's ball to grab. You have to be smart on this play, and if you got to run it a little bit to shake it up, you definitely can run it because you have opportunity to use your timeouts as well.
So it is going to be Champ Smith back out there after he was injured on that last drive. It's going to be a sweep, and Tank White trying to fight out of there, but he is unable to. There is
and I tell you what, Zane, I'm going to tell you again, there's a flag.
Where?
On the field.
So that one is going to be declined. It was a penalty on Cocoa, but they're going to make it now 2nd down and probably 16 as the sweep there. They try to get Tank White featured. We mentioned ahead of the game that he is an electrifying player, but if you get him a sweep and nobody's blocking, then you can't really do much. So the time is ticking now. Coach Schneider's not going to be in any hurry to hike this ball. That's going to be a handoff right up the middle.
And I think you're going to get that for the entire this next down as well. They're not going to try to do anything spectacular. They're going to just let the clock run, and rightfully so. You're down 24-0, but you're on your side of the field. You don't want to risk no turnovers or anything like that. So just let it run. It's boring. It's not sexy. It's not exciting, but it's manageable. And you're going to have to get back at halftime and kind of regroup.
Yep. So Champ Smith is still in the game after being injured on that last series. He's going to take the ball and throw it outside, and it's going to be incomplete. So the pass right there is actually going to stop the clock, and that makes it 4th down.
And that's actually kind of dangerous because there's 58 seconds left on the clock. I wouldn't be surprised to see Vero try to take a shot after this punt, or maybe run this punt back. And that's what you don't want. That's the worst thing that could happen. But if they give this opportunity for Vero Beach to get the offense out there, they're going to try to score more points.
Well, in that game 2 weeks ago with O'Galley, we saw Ephraim White take a 51-yard direct snap for a touchdown right before half. And he has that breakaway ability, so got to be careful. And that is going to take a Tiger bounce, and they'll stop it right about the 41-yard line. Silverzon will hand it off to the referee. It's going to be Vero Beach ball at the 41-yard line, and they have 48 seconds left. Terry, I think you're right. I think they're going to take some shots here.
Yeah, you would think so. You know, the playbook is wide open. I mean, you don't have anything to lose. You're up 24-0. The coach may say, okay, let's play it safe and let's get in and live to fight another day and get into halftime. Or he might say, you know what? This is our field. Let's give these fans something to cheer about.
So it's going to be a direct snap to Hillsman, and he's got room on that outside. He makes a defender miss, and he gets all the way up to the 29-yard line. The clock will continue rolling. but it wasn't even E.J. White, Terry.
Yeah.
It was Hillsman with the direct snap, and he just took it for about a gain of 35.
Yeah, and I think Vero, I don't know if they called timeout yet, but no, they didn't. They letting it roll.
Now it is E.J. White. He's going to roll out. And he gets smacked. The ball comes out, but he recovered it.
Wow. What a hit. What a hit,
and
man.
That's why I said he literally got smacked. You heard it from here up in the press box. What a hit.
Yeah, he's still trying to find his balance. They got to take a look at this young man because he definitely took a hit. He's walking a little wobbly right here.
Well, that's another thing, too, is you mentioned he's not a quarterback.
Right.
So if he's injured, who is the next man up, Terry?
Yeah, and that's the $1 million question, right? But the thing about it is he's not a quarterback, and you're looking to get your quarterback back soon, right? So you don't want to utilize and risk this young man's health, too, because he's your star player on offense as it relates to him getting the ball.
Yep.
If your quarterback comes back, he's got to rely on other people, which is not a bad thing, but you will want that safety net that you have always. So they're going to have to be smart about the way that they address these next few plays and how they're going to treat this young man, because you could tell he walked a little wobbly. I mean, that was a hit. We heard that up here, you know.
Yeah.
I had to stand up, you know, because that hit was really hard.
Yeah, you heard the contact on that one. And with now 22 seconds left, if Coco can hold them right here, this would be huge. Vero Beach, at minimum, is trying to get into field goal range. We saw their kicker. He has a huge leg.
Oh, they're in field goal range already. We saw this young man kick a 52-yarder. They might give him a shot.
E.J. White with Hillsman in the backfield. He's going to throw it outside, and that is going to be incomplete. So we're going to go to third down now. It's going to be about third and about 15. But like you said, they are pretty much in field goal range. It would be a long field goal from here. They're at the 36-yard line. It's going to be about a 53-yarder from where they're at.
Yeah.
We did see the field goal kicker. He had the leg for it.
He kicked 52. I saw him kick a 52. But if you're Vero Beach, what you would try to do is just run the ball and get it where he feels comfortable kicking the ball from.
Right. So the Indians will snap it, third down. And there's an interception. And
wow, big boy has some wheels.
You always
he said, I'm moving tonight. Oh my God, what a catch. Good concentration by the defensive lineman, man. I tell you what, everybody's excited to see this young man display his afterburners.
That was Redman Thompson.
Redman was running fast.
And that's the type of play that Coco's looking for to get them juiced up. So Redman Thompson sets him up.
At the very least, you could kick a field goal.
Yeah,
but you got to be smart here.
10 seconds on the clock. They are at the 20, about the 27-yard line. They might take one shot at the end zone, but like you said, you got to be careful. Low snap. They are going to take a shot at the end zone. And it is incomplete. That almost could have been intercepted or caught. It was Chappell, the intended receiver.
Yeah, you got to see what your kicker is going to be able to do here. I know they're going to try to put some points on the board because you do not want to go down 24-0 right here.
So 4 seconds left in the half. Coco is going to attempt a field goal. And if you can, at minimum, just get the field goal, Terry, you got to think, wow, we dodged a big bullet with not allowing Vero Beach to score another touchdown or at least kick the field goal and go up 27-0.
Yeah, shout out to Redman again, man. I love to see that. Young man stuck with it, and he didn't drop the ball. And there you go. There's a flag.
Where?
On the field.
So I think we're going to have – it looked like it was an offsides, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I guess he had to get the player out because he didn't have a mouthpiece. And so when he didn't have a mouthpiece, they have to stop the play.
Okay. So they're going to put 4 seconds back on the clock, and Coco's going to attempt this field goal over again. That one was blocked, so you kind of have an idea of how fast these Indians are going to come around the corner. Coco's got to get this one in the air and get it in the air quick. And this one has the distance, and it is good. So
That's what you want to see. And now everybody on the Coco should be thanking Redman for that interception that he had, because that young man was running his heart out, and now they're down 24-3.
So it'll be 24-3 going into our halftime. Terry, before we go to break, let's talk about the first half a little bit. Coco obviously had some opportunities, especially with penalties, but were unable to capitalize. Vero Beach is going to get the ball to start this second half. It's probably paramount for Coco to get a stop.
Yeah, they definitely have to get a stop here. But, hey, they've shown everyone that, hey, we can stop. We got an interception, which put us down in field goal range, and we scored 3 points. That's encouraging. If you're the coach, if you're Coach Snyder, that's what you need to be preaching to the team. Like, look, you guys had your head held down, but one of our defensive players made a play, and now look at us. We're down 24-3. It could have been 24-0. So if I was Coach Snyder, I'll look at the positives that has been happening and build off the momentum from that last play.
I agree. So as we are about to head to the break, it is Vero Beach 24, Coco 3. The Vero Beach Indians marching band is about to take the field and put on a little bit of a performance here, halftime show. So once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain, Zane Garcia. It is the halftime show. We are going to take a little break as everybody can enjoy the Vero Beach marching band. Once again, thank you all for tuning in.
I would have been no. You want me next year either. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was always in charge of the change game. That guy working on the side of the road, he had a change. That's what he was like. Yeah, I think he's still there. Okay. Lauren was the parole officer. I think he's still doing that. No? Oh, really? Okay. I was going to go there the other day. I didn't. Well, for sure, for sure. Okay, restaurant in Vero. Tides is by far the best. Tides. Yeah. And you can see that you got a reservation. That's good to know. Ocean Grill's very good.
Go sit there loose and put it on full blast.
Dior. Ocean Line. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's fine dining, but it's pretty good. Get a commercial for that. I do commercials. I came in, they're doing the commercials and they need actors, so they call me up. I get free meal.
While it is halftime, I will take the moment to talk a little bit around the county. O'Galley and Heritage tonight fared to be a really good one. And Terry, it's 13-6. We saw O'Galley a week ago beat Rockledge 23-14. We know they still do not have their quarterback, Joseph Allen, so primarily going to be a run team. Heritage has some players, so that one is going to be an exciting finish over there. If you want to tune into that one, Zach Clark from Space Coast Daily is over there on the call for that one. That is an exciting game. Anyone interested in knowing some other scores around the county, Titusville losing currently to West Orange 42-7. Cardinal Mooney beating Rockledge 26-3. And Vieira up 26-7 over Astronaut. So really some kind of surprising scores around the county right now. I would say I'm a little bit surprised about the Vieira Astronaut game. Viera's got a really good team. We saw them in the Kickoff Classic beating Palm Bay 52-20, but I would say the Astronaut defense was not able to stop the Vieira offense but slow them down enough that we wouldn't see the score that we're seeing right now. But Viera's came to play, Terry.
Yeah, they definitely came to play, and you know, it's anybody's ranking in the county. You know, I think you kind of awaken a sleeping giant when Space Coast Daily was able to display they're top 8, and if you don't think people are looking or listening, they definitely are. So it's going to be a definitely interesting rankings for the next week. So if you don't want to be in the lower half of the ranking, play hard
Yep.
and win.
Yep. That's what it's about. And let's be honest, when there's college football, there's NFL power rankings, everybody has their own opinion about it. Everybody has their thoughts and what they think is right and wrong. And at the end of the day, it's what has the team shown on the field. So that's how Space Coast Daily bases our rankings. Has the team performed and has the team won? It's not about what player is playing on what team or how many catches the wide receiver had or how many touchdowns so-and-so had. It's simply what you put together on the field. If you won the game, great for you. You're probably going to move up in a ranking, or if you kept it close, then you probably won't move much. But all around, we have seen some teams play well, and Astronaut has been one of them that has played well, and it really carried over from a 6-4 season last year. I believe that Coach Halleck and company has done a great job over there. But all around the county, I do think that the teams have played better this year than we have seen in some years. And with how Vero is playing over Cocoa right now, they're looking to sweep 2 Brevard teams this year and beating O'Galley week 1 and beating Cocoa in week 3. But as I mentioned earlier, Terry, Cocoa did nearly come back and beat Mainland last week as they were down 19-0 and made that a 19-14 game and actually had a chance to win it at the end. So down 21, yes, but is the game over? No. So there's still a lot of game left to be played. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely anything. As as we see Vero Beach right now running on the field, warming up. They're all in, and for them to have a possibility of being 3-0, like you mentioned before, and beating both the top teams in Brevard County, arguably. So if they're able to do that without their top quarterback, just imagine what they're going to be able to do when Champ Mons come back.
Yeah, Champ Mons, a special player who is still in a boot that we saw. So I'm imagining that might be a calf issue. It didn't look like on the play that he was injured 2 weeks ago that he was not able to run off the field. It looked like he was able to jog off the field, so it probably was not an ankle injury. But I'm a little bit interested to see when Champ Mons come back how this Vero Beach team is going to look. So it'll be quite interesting. We are ticking down to the start of the second half. We have about 2 minutes left, so we will take a quick break and be right back. before we start this second half, I'm going to give a big shout out to Wilkes 14 Bones Barbecue. They've been doing their thing over here every week at the Vero Beach High School games. And Terry can attest to this. Some great pulled pork over there, great pulled pork sandwich.
Yeah, I definitely. The guy was telling me that they got probably the best barbecue. They've been around for 30 years, and I see why they've been around for that long, because their food was absolutely delicious, Zane.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we had the treat of Honey's Wings and Things. Unfortunately, they're not here tonight, so it's a little sad that you don't get your fried pork chop and I don't get my wings, but we're still going to shout them out anyway. Honey's Wings and Things. Really good food. So check them out. But some other football scores. Anyone tuned into the NFL last night saw the Eagles, the champion Eagles, I could say, winning 24-20 over the Dallas Cowboys. And right now it is the Chargers beating the Chiefs 7-0, which that's kind of a statement win if you're LA and you win that, Terry.
Well, that's a divisional game as well, right?
Yep.
So, you want to get those divisional games early, because if you sit on top of the division, you got an opportunity to make the playoffs. And Kansas City has been on top in that division for quite some time.
So we are about to start the second half here. It's going to be Vero Beach receiving.
Okay, second half. Indians won Rosen calls the first of the second half. Oh, yeah, still there. Kicking off for Coco, number 77, Keelan Gonzalez. Deep inside the Indians, number 6, Travion Townsend, and number 12, Marcus Melvin.
Coco getting ready to kick off right now, down 24-3. We saw a week ago they were able to fight back in that game against Mainland. They're hoping to do so again tonight. But it's going to be a tall task. Vero Beach has a lot of talent on that offense, and it's going to start with stopping E.J. White. So here we go to start the second half.
Oh, a little trickery.
And somehow, some way, he gets out of there. Terry, what happened?
Well, they try to do some trickery on special teams, and one of the special teamers dropped the ball, and he got more yards than what he should have gotten, quite honestly. Coco special team looked slow getting down the field. If they were faster than what they were supposed to be, then they probably would have gotten the ball at the 1 yard line. But that was a slow special teams play. And for them to maintain the ball and get it to where they're at right now for Vero Beach, that's a win.
So it'll be E.J. White for the Indians back there commanding the offense again for the Indians. He's going to throw it deep and nearly had the receiver.
And there's a flag.
Where?
On the field. I tell you what, that could have went also false start, because the wide receiver was rocking on his heels, and the referees did not catch that. But this is definitely going to be a pass interference.
That was number 10, Zay Stinson, Xavier Stinson, who was the intended receiver.
We want to thank everybody still for tuning in. We got Miss Kathy Hamilton Brown is watching. Thank you for watching. Mike Barlow, Savis Thompson. Thank you all for watching, amongst everybody else that's watching the Cocoa Tigers. Right now, the Cocoa Tigers are down 24-3, 11 minutes and 43 seconds in the third quarter.
And there's going to be a run as Hillsman.
Oh, wow.
It's going to come back, though. He scored a touchdown right there, but it's going to come back. C.J. Hester, the defensive back, had a chance to break out of there, and it's going to be a hold. That one's coming back. That was clear as day.
Once again, Zane, there's a flag
Where?
on the field. Now, we're not going to say that every time because, you know, people will get tired of it. But, man, I'll tell you what, if I was the running back, I would be highly upset with my blockers because they didn't have to do that. You know, the guy has enough speed that he was going to get away and score a touchdown regardless.
Well, it was regardless of him scoring a touchdown, your guy is in the open field. C.J. Hester would have had to track him down, so you're going to guarantee about a 30 to 40-yard gain. So it technically is going to be a first down because the holding comes from where it occurred. So take back the touchdown, but a first down and some yardage for Vero, and Hillsman got loose there, Terry.
Yeah, definitely been loose, man. And, you know, as Coco, you're going to have to attack the quarterback. That's where it all begins. If you're able to attack this quarterback, you have opportunity to get back into the game.
So E.J. White going to take the snap and hand it off once again to Hillsman. And that big Vero Beach front pushing them forward for about 4.
Those are some big heavies in the front, Zane.
Oh, yeah.
We watched those guys warm up, and they are huge.
Yeah, they got some big boys up front, and that was about to be only a 1-2 yard gain, and it turned into 4 yards just from the offensive line alone. So, and just looking at it on the screen, everyone watching can even see it. The front line for the Vero Beach Indians is a lot bigger than Coco. So Coco having to use speed and really agility to get through and make a push.
But, yeah, when you're in this heat and you're getting beat down by those big boys, that takes a toll on you.
It does. So there's a screen and a big play there, as that was number 7. That was Jordan Crutchfield. We already called his name earlier tonight. So Vero Beach able to get a first down there on a little tunnel screen to Jordan Crutchfield. E.J. White takes the snap, quick pass, and that's his main man right there. That's Marcus Melbourne, number 12.
Yeah, that's definitely his go-to receiver. And what a good go-to receiver to have, because almost every time he threw the ball to him, he was catching everything that's been thrown to him.
Yeah, he's sure hands and gets about 4 yards right there, 4 or 5 yards, so positive. Coco in dire need of a stop right here. Cannot afford to go down any more in this game. All right, E.J. White takes the snap, and he's going to throw it to the end zone, and it is going to be caught.
Wow. What a catch. That's all I can say. What a catch, and what a throw.
And who else could it have been? It was number 12, Marcus Melbourne.
His go-to receiver.
On the touchdown. Actually, excuse me, that was number 10, Xavier Stinson. We've talked about it before. He's a UCLA commit.
Yeah.
He's got some hands, and he's committed to UCLA for a reason.
Yeah, and I know UCLA is sitting back there smiling like, yeah, this is our guy. Because he went up and caught it. It didn't matter how many people were jumping with him. He was the one that came up with the ball.
With the extra point good, Vero Beach is now increasing their lead to 28, 31-3. Vero Beach with, really, Terry, this is a stunner.
Yeah, I don't even know if Coco is even aware of what's happening right now. There's been a shift in the momentum from the beginning, and Coco has never had an opportunity to get that back. Yeah, they've had some key plays, but even with those key plays like we saw right before the half, Vero Beach takes the ball right there and say, you know what, That was a nice play before the half, but we're going to show you how it's really done, and that's what's been happening. They scored a touchdown.
Well, with Vero Beach, I think it started when Vero Beach recovered that pooch kick to start the game. That really set the tone of this game, and it kind of showed that Vero Beach was coming out to win. They weren't coming out just to play against the Cocoa Tigers. They were coming to win this game. And Cocoa, they've come out flat. And after losing a heartbreaker at home a week ago, you would think that they would come out with a little bit more passion and flair, and they just have not. So there's another pooch kick, and that one is fair caught. So,
and you know what, Zane? Vero Beach said all week that they were ready for the challenge, and that play proved it.
Yep. So Ephraim White throws a deep pass to Xavier Stinson for the touchdown, and with just over 9 minutes left, it is Cocoa 3, Vero Beach 31. So plenty of time left to come back, but a lot's going to have to happen. There's a run up the middle.
Yeah, and one of the things I have not seen is when you get a lead like this, most of the time the team with the lead gets, a little relaxed or whatever. But that's not the case for Vero Beach. They're still fired up. They're still ready to go out there and hit and bang and do whatever they need to do to get the ball back to the offense.
So that handoff was to Nazir Warwick. He's going to get the pitch right here, and he slips as he tries to cut back. Right before half, we saw Cannon McCarthy get ripped down, and it looked like he had a shoulder or collarbone injury. And now we're about to have an injury on the field. So not what Coco wants to see right there.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. You could tell he's in pain. He's moving all around. So I'm really hoping that this young man is okay. I think he might have a cramp. They look like they was working on him. It is pretty hot out here too,
It is.
so.
But what's best for the cramps, Terry, is
Pickle juice.
Actually some pickle juice.
Yes, that works every time. I don't think they have none on the sideline though, Zane.
Well, I'm pretty sure that they might have some sort of pickle somewhere in this stadium because
yeah, they have them.
I'll tell you right now, this Vero Beach Stadium has just about everything. You can come out here and get Kona Ice, snow cones, Chick-fil-A, lemonade stand. We just talked about the barbecue. They have desserts. They have their regular concession stand. So,
and most importantly, they have the lead, 31-3.
Oh yeah.
We still want to thank everybody for tuning in. Coco's down 31-3. Thanks, Thomas Highsmith, for watching. Juan Rodriguez for watching. Miss Felix, thank you for watching as well. And everybody else that's on. Ty Benson, we want to definitely appreciate everyone for watching the Cocoa Tigers as they're losing 31-3 in the third quarter with 8 minutes and 24 seconds left.
Champ Smith surveying, and he's going to be sacked. So it's going to be 4th down for the Tigers. And really, it was danger time for Cocoa starting this possession, and it is really danger time now. Why? Because if Vero Beach scores another one, Terry, it's a running clock.
Yeah, and that was definitely a heck of a sack, man. That quarterback, he just really folded up like a lawn chair, quite honestly. And everybody's hitting on Vero Beach. Doesn't matter what position you're playing on defense. See ball, get ball, hit the runner.
So the punt is off, and it's going to be Hillsman. And he's got some room to run. He's down that right sideline. He's tripped up at about the 25-yard line, but it looks like there might be a flag to bring that one back.
Yeah, there's definitely a flag on the field. Holding for sure.
Yeah, I would say a holding and a block in the back on Vero is going to bring this one back. 7:29 left in this third quarter. And it is danger time for Cocoa. If Vero Beach scores right here, it'll start the running clock as it starts at 35 points. And I don't think, I mean, I'm 25 years old, Terry, and
that's old, man.
I've been watching Cocoa football for quite a while. I don't think I've ever seen anybody have a running clock on Cocoa.
You might be right about that. I've only been in the county for a few years. And ever since I've been calling games here for high school football, I've seen Cocoa have running clocks on other teams.
Yep.
But I've never seen them get a running clock on them as well.
So an impressive showing so far for Vero Beach tonight. Cocoa going to have to regroup. And as they play Heritage next week, Ephraim White going to take the carry. He gets some wiggle room, and he's going to scamper up for about 9 yards. And that was one of my keys to start this matchup, Terry, was stopping the run. And they just haven't been able to stop Ephraim White from running the ball tonight.
Yeah, and he's been having his way almost the entire night, even though he threw maybe 1 or 2 picks. But still, I mean, he's had success running the ball. And Vero Beach is very complacent with running the clock. But they're aware that they can get a running clock on Cocoa, and they're going to try to do that as well.
So E.J. White, after the 9-yard gain, is going to take the snap. He's going to try to get out of there, but cannot. That's going to be a Cocoa sack. And that'll move them back to about the 38-yard line, it looks like.
Yeah, and great job by Christopher Patterson, the defensive end for Cocoa. He's the one that got that sack. And you know what? He's not having his head held down. He's still trying to sack the quarterback and rally the troops. And he's doing an outstanding job. And that's what you need to do. And as a coach and as a defensive coordinator, that's what you want to see.
So it's going to be 3rd and 8. E.J. White is going to roll out, and he's going to run. He's going to get up to about the 40, maybe the 41-yard line, but that's going to make it 4th down. The analytics are going to say punt it. I know that if it was 4th and 1 or 2, they'd probably go for that.
Yeah, and don't be surprised to see a fake here, too. You know, stranger things have happened, right? They've already tried something on special teams that didn't work out, so they may try to do a fake here.
Vero Beach punter boots it. It'll take a decent bounce and go to about the 25-yard line. The Cocoa Tigers will take over with 5:07 left in this third quarter. We're going to have an officials timeout, so us ourselves will take a little timeout, and we will be right back in just a moment after this.
Space Coast Daily is Brevard's most trusted news. Through spacecoastdaily.com and Space Coast Daily's social media reach, hundreds of thousands of people stay informed every day. Through Space Coast Daily's unmatched digital reach with the Space Coast Daily's direct mail newspaper and Space Coast Daily the magazine in print, our loyal and engaged viewers enjoy free local news they can trust every day, and all at no charge thanks to our successful advertising clients. And also at our special events at Space Coast Daily Park in Vero, where hundreds of thousands of people see our clients' advertisements. Call today to get your message seen on Space Coast Daily and take your business to new heights. Get launched with Space Coast Daily. Call 321-323-4460 today.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Cocoa takes over after the punt from Vero Beach. The run right there is by Nazir Warwick, which the freshman Warwick, he's going to be getting the remainder of the carries in this one. You might see a little bit of Javion Scott But it's going to be a lot of work as Kanan McCarthy, who's their normal featured back, was injured with appears to be a collarbone injury. Champ is going to run it and slide.
He's going to have to get help from his receivers. There was no one open. And now you got to go real fast. You know, you're down 31-3. You're going to have to put some points on the board if you want to stay in this game, because otherwise Vero Beach is going to try to run up the score on you. And their defense has been fairly decent. They've held Cocoa to 3 points, and they take pride in that.
So as the time ticks down to right under 4 minutes, Cocoa is trying to get something going. And we're going to have 4th and short, and regardless of analytics, you're going to have to go for it.
Yeah, you're going to have to go for it. I know you're on your own side of the field, but right now you're down by a lot. And this is where you have to go and make plays. Big-time players make big-time plays, right?
Yep. So 4th and about 1.
Yep, and they got him. They should have threw a flag on the offsides, but they did not.
Wow, they are sending the punt unit out there. That, to me, that's a little bit of a shocker. I know you're on your own half of the field, Terry, but this is kind of desperation time in the game. You have to put up points, and you have to put them up now because 15 minutes left in this game. Vero Beach's offense doesn't look like they're slowing down.
Yeah, but, I mean, on the last drive, though, Cocoa had an opportunity to stop them, which they did, and they haven't – Vero Beach hasn't scored in a while, you know. So the defense is holding up a little bit, and I guess that's what the coach is banking on. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to take chance. You're going to have to take risks and go from there.
So Cocoa is going to send out the punt unit. Any chance of a fake here, Terry?
It's possible. Anything's possible here. But I think Vero Beach is aware of that as well. So they're going to definitely try to send all their players in to block this kick, too. So they have to be mindful of that as well.
It was nearly blocked, but it'll be punted away. And it wasn't a great punt, but it did take a Cocoa bounce. I was about to say a Cocoa beat. It took a Cocoa bounce. Took a decent little Cocoa bounce, so Vero Beach will take over right around the 35-yard line. And we're down to 3:08 left in this third quarter. Cocoa still losing 31-3. E.J. White commanding the offense well for the Indians. And the run down the sideline will pick up about 8. That was White on the keeper. And when we've seen White carry the ball tonight, he's been able to scamper for about 8-9 yards nearly every single run, Terry.
Yeah, White's ready to break one. You know, he wanted to show that he can break one as well. Everybody else is getting in on the action. He wants a piece of the action also.
And if he sees some open field, all he needs is just a little bit. And E.J. White has burners that have not turned on yet tonight, but they can in a heartbeat. A little toss outside will go to Hillsman, and that'll go for about 7-8 yards and pick up the first down.
I mean, and shout out to the Cocoa fans because they're still out here watching their team and cheering their team, even though the score doesn't reflect what they would like it to be, 31-3, but they're still out here cheering their Tigers on.
Well, what I'm a little bit surprised to see is you never see a team give up, and the Tigers haven't given up, but you see the sideline looks down. And I know you're losing in this game, and it's by 28 points right now, but you really don't want to see your team with the heads down. You don't want to see them looking and feeling that way. And the emotions on the sideline for the Tigers is just down, Terry.
Yeah, and what a break for the Tigers right there, because if he did not drop that pass, he would still have been running, because there was a lot of running room for that young man.
E.J. White will take the snap. And he hands it up to Hillsman, and Hillsman's going to trout forward for a first down. Picks up about 12 right there. Coco has not been able to stop the run, and what was my key to success was stopping the run. So unable to stop the run, and that's going to hurt you.
Everything is looking too easy for Vero Beach right now. They could do anything. They're having their way with Coco, unfortunately, for Coco fans that thought it was going to be a better game than what it was, but Vero Beach has accepted the challenge.
So Vero Beach is going to slowly let this time tick down as we start to approach the end of the third quarter. This might be one of the last plays of the quarter. E.J. White takes the snap, and he's going to do it himself. He's got some room up the middle, and he's able to run for probably about, 10 and another first down. So we are going to have one more play here in the third quarter as the time clock is just a little bit above the play clock. But this play right here will be the last play of the third quarter. And Vero Beach is threatening again. They score again right here. Mentioned just a moment ago, it will be a running clock. E.J. White with Hillsman in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to Hillsman. He's got the right side. He's going to hurdle a defender and be down right about the 1 yard line. Actually, never mind. They're going to say he got in there and scored.
Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, let the running clock begin.
Yep.
I thought I would never be able to say that watching the Coco Tigers game. But, man, Vero Beach is taking this personally.
Well, Vero Beach, unless we see the greatest comeback in FHSAA history, it looks like Vero Beach has completed the sweep of O'Galley and Coco, which right now are the best two teams in Brevard County. So, which there's some other teams around the county that are going to have some say-so about that. I mean, Merritt Island took Coco wire to wire.
Yeah.
And Merritt Island will be playing at DeLand tonight and hoping to come out of that game with a victory. So with a 38-3 score, that makes the end of the third, and we are going to go to the fourth. That is going to start a running clock after this kickoff. And this is quite a shocker right here, not just for Coco fans, but for us in the booth, Terry.
Yeah.
I think Coco came out and they were just smacked in the mouth and were not able to respond.
Yeah, they were smacked in the mouth from the beginning. You know, we talked about the keys of the game. You mentioned that what Coco needed to control the tempo early, and they haven't done that. And it shows because they're down 38-3, and now they get ready to have a running clock as well. You lose a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Not making any excuses for Coco, but you lose a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, and you expect, everybody expects the four-peat, right? But it takes time. And these young men, this is valuable lessons here. This is a learning experience for these young men because they're not going to forget that. A lot of these young men are going to be playing for Coco again next year, and they're going to remember how bad they gotten beaten here in Vero Beach.
So the pooch kick will be fair caught once again. So the Tigers will take over at the 20-yard line. Looks like we have a player down. It might just be cramps. Cocoa Tigers will be looking ahead to next week as they face Heritage, who Heritage is battling O'Galley. So the next two matchups for the Tigers is Heritage and O'Galley, who are facing off tonight. That one's been close all night. Obviously, O'Galley without their starting quarterback, Joseph Allen, injured here in week 1. So it's been really the Xavier Corbin show, and he's been able to take over really over the past 2 weeks, scoring 5 touchdowns. So we have 11:30 left in this fourth quarter. The running clock has not started yet because we have an injured player on the field. The Cocoa sideline is talking and getting ready. So Cocoa will take out Champ Smith. It's going to be Washington in the game. Silver's on with the reception there. He'll gain about 7, 8 on that reception. The running clock has started.
Yeah, this is going to make this game go by even faster now with this running clock.
Chappell with the reception there gets bumped and hit out of bounds. Play there gains a couple. Well, if Cocoa doesn't figure it out, Terry, and start to turn things around in the right direction, Heritage is going to be a harder game than it would have been prior to the season.
Yeah, and then they play O'Galley after that, don't they? So they definitely have a lot of interesting games coming up. So those teams are still lobbying for who's the best in the county as well.
Throw down the middle for Silberzon is going to be incomplete. It's going to be freshman quarterback. That is number 16, Trenton Washington, in the game for Cocoa. I would say it's pretty good to get him some reps right now, especially in a game like this, because you never know what's going to happen later on in the season. Your main guy, Champ Smith, he's taking some shots tonight. You really want to protect him as well and hope that he can come back and still play the rest of this season. But get your freshman guy some reps. So Washington will roll out, and he's able to scamper for about a yard. That'll make it fourth down.
Yeah, they haven't been getting a lot on this drive here. But you are right. It's good to see that the freshman is getting some experience because he's probably going to have to play in other games. And you don't want him to shock him when he has to come and play. This is a huge game right now, even though the score don't reflect how big it is. But he's playing in a big-time game, so if he has to come in to be the savior of a game, he has that game-time experience. He's familiar. He's playing with top-notch players in high school football here as well. So this is actually good for him.
Vero Beach just overall dominating tonight. It started from the kickoff, Terry. They kicked that pooch kick, and Cocoa just didn't react to it. They didn't go after it, and Vero Beach was just right on top of it. They got the ball, and they scored with relatively ease. I mean, it was a field goal, but they were able to move the ball in position and made it 10-0 within the first 2 minutes of this game. That one thrown high, and Vero Beach will now take over. The running clock is going to continue, so we are now under the 8-minute mark in this ball game.
Yeah, and the quarterback didn't look comfortable at all. I know he's a freshman. He's coming in, and you asked him to come in and play and try to rally the troops here, but he didn't look comfortable. He didn't throw the ball well, but he'll learn from this. This is actually valuable experience for him.
Vero Beach going to put in their third string as well. That's Landon Collar. Well, with just about 6.5 minutes left in this one, it's pretty much all but wrapped up. The running clock has started it started actually the start of the fourth quarter, so Vero Beach really doesn't have to run or throw. They can just sit on the ball pretty much. That one is run up the middle for about 2 or 3 yards. That'll make it third and about 11. There's a pitch play, and that's going to be close to a first down mark. I think that they're going to give him about 9. Well, they're going to move the chains, and it's going to be a first down. And that's pretty much the crusher right there, Terry. We're now down to about 5 minutes left in the game, and I don't think that Cocoa will probably not – they probably won't see the ball again. I think that Vero Beach is just content with running the ball and
barring any turnovers, they probably won't see it or score.
Yep.
Because these guys are still trying to score. They're second and third and fourth stringers. They want to score, so they're not looking at the clock. They're trying to say, look, I'm trying to pad in my stats.
Vero Beach has put in their third-string quarterback and third-string running back as well, so they're going to get their guys some experience. There's another little shovel pass play. That's going to go for about 5 or 6, and it's going to be another first down. Clock is now under 4 minutes left in this one.
I'll tell you what, Zane, this clock has been moving. I know it's a running clock, but, man, they're getting out of here real fast.
Yep. So a 1st and 10 handoff right up the middle. Gains a couple. And this one is going to be the second loss of the season for the Cocoa Tigers. Not the way that they would want to start the season and not the way that they would want to come down to Vero and play this ball game. But I have to say, their district's still winnable. They can still win their district and go to the playoff, and they still can even four-peat whether or not they lose 5 games, as long as they win their district and get to the playoffs. But there's a lot of things that this Cocoa team is going to have to figure out, primarily on the offensive side of the ball. The defense has, while they've put up 38 points, the defense has given a great effort out there tonight. And really, it looks like the defense has just been tired. You know, they've been on the field consistently, and when the defense wears down, it's hard to contain.
Yeah, and you talk about, them still having an opportunity to four-peat. This is a non-conference game for them, fortunately for them. But every team in Brevard County is looking at this game. They will be looking at this game and say, hey, Cocoa is not, the big bad wolf anymore. So for some people may think that. They still have a good team. They still have a lot of talent. But like I mentioned to you before in previous weeks, every team in Brevard County has gotten better.
Yep.
And so because of that, there's no clear-cut favorite, no clear-cut number one. We do our rankings, yeah, we do those things, but we do it off of what we see. Yep. And not just the record. It's about the talent and the output that these young men are playing on the field every game. And so I have to admit, there's been a lot of teams that have been definitely showcasing their talents, and they want to lobby, quote-unquote, for the number one spot in Brevard County.
Yep. Time is ticking down quick. We are at about 1:40 left in this ball game. Vero really just trying to get this to the end, and it looks like they're going to get in victory formation and take a knee and end this one out 38-3.
Yeah, if you're Vero Beach, you gotta be happy. If you're Vero Beach, you gotta be happy about how your team came out and played, and you're up for the task, because Cocoa is the state champions. Doesn't matter how bad it looks now, they're still the state champions. And so for you to come out and be able to beat them convincingly, that's a win.
Yep. So like we said earlier, the Cocoa Tigers will be traveling and playing at Heritage next week. And the way that Heritage has looked this season, they've looked competitive, so that might turn into a pretty interesting and compelling matchup. So the time is ticking out now, and that is going to be the final in this one. It'll be Vero Beach 38, Cocoa 3. And really the keys to the victory for Cocoa, they were not consistent in it throughout this game, and they looked flat coming out in the start of this one, and it went left quickly for the Cocoa Tigers, and Vero Beach was able to gain momentum and really never let it go. So any final thoughts, Terry?
Yeah, if you're Cocoa, you still have to say, hey, we're still the state champions. We know we lost a lot of our players that were on that team, but 2 losses doesn't define your team.
No.
You still have to go out and find your identity. Right now they look like they lost their identity. And you have a running clock on you today. That hasn't happened since I've been broadcasting. And shout out to Vero Beach. They came out, they accepted the challenge. They've responded this entire week. They've been saying that we were up for the task, and they answered the call because they wanted to be undefeated against the Brevard County's best, quote unquote, and they beat them. They beat both teams, and that you have to be feeling really great if you're Vero Beach's coach right now.
Yep, so a great showing here for the Vero Beach Indians. They will take this win and move on to 3-0. Cocoa will take the loss and move to 1-2. Cocoa will have to get ready quickly as they have Heritage next Friday. So from everyone that watched, thank you for tuning in to the Friday Night Locker Room on Space Coast Daily. Terry Spain and Zane Garcia, we are saying goodnight, and we will see you all next week on the Friday Night Locker Room in Space Coast Daily. Thank you all once again.